Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Faces of Carlsbad. We're sponsored by Intrepid Potash, and we're here filming in this beautiful, beautiful artist gallery located in the heart of beautiful Carlsbad, New Mexico, on a very nice sunny day. And today, as you know, we interview people that you might have seen, some people that you might know, and if you don't, you're going to know him when we're finished. And today we're very proud to introduce to you Mr. Bill Crabb, a friend of mine for many years. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Did you ever think that you were going to be a star on television?
I never thought that.
Well, you are now.
Thank you.
Anyway, what we do on this show, Bill, is to start out in the early days, where you were born, where you grew up, and we'll slowly pass through the years because I know what year you were born, and it made me feel good. So, give us a start.
I was born in 1927.
Mm-hmm.
At the age of 3 weeks, my family moved to Carlsbad.
Where were you born? What city?
I was born in Sallisaw, Oklahoma.
Oh, Sallisaw.
Okie.
Mm-hmm. You're an Okie. Well, just by a couple of months.
For 3 weeks.
3 weeks. And then you moved to Carlsbad.
That's true.
What did your mom and dad do?
They were farmers, and we had a rented farm at Otis, south of Otis, down on the canal.
Mm-hmm.
The farm is still there. And we were there for my first 10 years or so.
I see.
And I went to school in Loving. We caught the bus and went to school in Loving.
So in those days, at the age of 9 and 10, did your dad have you out there helping on the farm?
I sure did.
Yeah, what did you have to do in those early days? Because that's a tough job.
Yeah, it is. We did chop cotton, pick cotton, hoe ditch, bale hay, and all the things that the farmers do. Then it was done by bean power. Everything was, we had horses. In my early life, they farmed with horses.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned to do things like that. I learned to cultivate with the 2 horses.
Did you make friends with the horses, by the way?
Sir?
Did you make friends with the horses?
Oh, yeah. They all had a name, you know.
Yeah.
You call Dick, do so-and-so, and you hope they did it.
Yeah, and usually they did.
Yes. I was telling a story one time about my early memories and the things that I liked, and I was telling about I was cultivating cotton, and you sit there looking up at the backside of 2 horses, and you look down and you see this row of cotton going under your seat.
Right.
And you smell that fresh dirt, and that's the life.
That was the life.
It sure was. And you like the smell of dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Most farmers like the smell of dirt.
Well, otherwise they wouldn't stay
Wouldn't
on
do
the
it.
farm, would they?
True.
So did you end up with back problems at all? Because you had to bend over a lot doing a lot of
I did not.
Oh, well, you were very fortunate. Very fortunate. Was Dad a good helper too? Did he guide you along the path of righteousness as far as the
My
farm?
granddad was. I was his first grandson, so I was a privileged child, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And he'd take me to the store, take me to town, and some of my fondest memories were with him. Going places. He let me drive first and things like that. He had a Model A Ford and a nice vehicle.
Did you have any heroes besides your grandfather?
Oh, movies. In the movies, yeah, all those cowboys were my people.
They were yours. I was thinking back on that because I had 2 heroes growing up, and we grew up in the same era. In fact, there aren't many people around here who were born during the Coolidge administration, but you and I were. But Lou Gehrig was one of my heroes.
Yeah.
Played baseball, and I saw him in a game many years ago. And my other one was my great uncle, who married my grandmother's sister. So we have heroes.
Yeah.
And then, as you grew older, you went to school, you say, in Loving.
In Loving.
Now, in those days, well, of course, Otis is still quite small, and Loving must have been an eye-opener when you got down there.
Well, yeah. Well, I went to school in Otis when I was in the first grade, and then I went, for what reason I don't know, we went to Loving School. We caught the bus and went to Loving School. When we went to Otis School, we had to walk. So,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it was better just to walk a half a mile than 3 miles. So we went to Loving. And I don't recall a lot about it. It was the Little Rock Schoolhouse in the Anglos met on one end and the
Hispanics.
Hispanics on the other end.
I'll be darned.
And it was divided there. At the 5th grade, I think, they joined together, but the first part of their school life was separated. Later on.
Yeah, go ahead. That was a tough thing to face.
Yeah. And I remember a little about in those days, but as I got older, I can remember a little bit more. And when somebody talks about it, then I remember. I remember one time I came to town with my granddad. I was about 5 or 6. And at the corner of Canyon and Fox Street, right by us here,
Yes.
there was a white monument right in the middle of the street, right square down where they crossed. A lot of people don't remember that.
When was that taken down, Bill? Do you remember?
I don't know. I've asked, and few people remember it being there, but
In my memory, I see this thing, and but I don't know if it's just an imagination on my part that sees this statue in the middle of that street. But I remember getting off the train and coming up the street, and I could have sworn it. There was an old hotel there, right by the railroad depot too. Remember those?
yeah.
Yeah.
For a long time.
For a
That
long
was-
time.
This monument, I'll call it, you see them in different towns now, but that one was right in the middle of the street, so there wasn't many cars come by there. And the farmers, the older guys would meet there where the corner drugstore, by the side of the corner drugstore,
Oh yes.
and talk.
Yes.
If you wanted to see somebody, and I thought they were old, but I guess they wasn't that old. But
No, they were youngsters.
to me,
They-
it seemed like they were old.
Anybody
Yeah.
who's 30 years or older is old,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So anyway, you don't remember when that statue disappeared?
I do not know. Mm-mm.
And it was a statue of what? Do you
No, just a wooden.
Just a
It
wooden-
was kind of sloped to the top.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
it had a bottom,
Yeah.
kind of a square bottom, and then a little ways up it tapered and come to a point at the top.
I see.
I don't know what it was for or when it left, but it used to be there. And I don't talk to many people that has remember seeing it.
Yeah, right. So when would you come into Carlsbad? For what particular reason in the early days?
I did not come to town very often, like a couple of times a year. Just, I would like to go. I always asked to go, but I didn't always get to go. And very seldom. We didn't come to town very much.
No, living on the farm, you basically had all your needs down there, didn't you?
Pretty much so.
Except for food, extra
Yeah.
foods that you'd have to come in. Well, you would probably go to where, Loving, for most of your food.
Otis, see, they had a store at
Oh,
Otis.
they had it. That's
yeah.
right, they did. I
And
remember
it
that.
was active till I left down there.
I see. Well, that's interesting. Now, when you would come into Carlsbad usually with your dad,
Granddad.
with your granddad, Dad would stay on the farm working hard, and Granddad was basically what, retired in those days? And
Well, he had a farm, but he had more time than I guess.
Now, your mother and your grandmother, were they nice to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, where did your grandparents originate from?
Arkansas.
In Arkansas.
Yale County, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, and then your mother's side of the family, she originated.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Sure.
So you were down there in the deep southern part of the Middle West.
On the Arkansas River.
Uh-huh.
Bottom land.
Bottom
farmers.
land. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, after you came to, did your mother, did she stay in town very often with you? Or would she ever come in with your grandparents?
Well, yeah, they would. I'm sure they did. I don't recall, but she would come with my dad. They would come to town, but I had 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and so we couldn't all come to town very often.
So you were part of a big family.
I was.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, did your brothers and sisters, as the years went by and they grew older, did they remain in Carlsbad or did they move?
Yeah, now I have 3 brothers in Carlsbad, 2 sisters, 1 sister.
1 sister. Okay, well, anyway, we now come up to your high school days. What do you remember about those?
I did not go to high school. I went in the Navy. I spent that part of my life in the Navy.
I see. Were you on destroyers, cruisers?
I was on an LST. I was in a salvage unit.
Oh, I see.
This was immediately after the war.
Yeah.
We went to the South Pacific and cleaned up.
One mess after another.
And that's where I spent my whole Navy career, was in the South Pacific. At those islands where they had the fighting, Iwo Jima, been there.
Yes. Oh, yes, right.
Cleaned it up.
Did you ever get to the Palau Islands at all?
Went by it. Manus and Guam and Tulagi, and I had a diary while I was in the Navy, and when we'd come and go, I'd log it in.
Yeah.
And sometimes towards the end of my naval career, it got misplaced.
I see.
I lost it. So, but I used to have the time and date and everything.
Oh, my.
We went. Well, we spent a year and a half in the South Pacific cleaning up.
Wow. And you and I were over there in about the same time.
Probably so.
Yeah, I was in Japan where we were cleaning up. Or they were cleaning up, where we were just standing around watching them.
We got near Japan, but we didn't get there.
Yeah. So anyway, after the Navy career, where did you go then?
When I got out of the Navy, I went to work at the potash mine and worked there for a while. And then I got into construction.
Oh, into construction.
I got to be a painter. I got to be a steel painter.
Yeah.
Then I worked for steel construction for a while, and after a few years working construction, I, with Marion Gold, started an industrial painting company.
Oh.
Did you know Marion Gold? Shorty Gold?
I heard about him, but I don't think
Well, he was my partner, and we worked for all over the Southwest. We did a lot of work.
And both big signs, usually?
We worked power plants, refineries. Back when we was going best, they had it was pollution control stacks. You know, like the stacks at the smelters, put out the smoke. All that got to be a big thing about then, and there was a lot of work on that.
reason I ask about these signs, back in Ohio, the only ones that I remember were the ones they painted on the side of barns, where it said "Chew Mail Pouch." I don't know if you ever got back that far and saw those signs on those barns, but it was quite fascinating.
We did a sign for Kerr McGee on the side of the warehouse at Kerr McGee that was 200 feet tall and 300 feet long.
Oh my
It
goodness.
took 150 gallons of paint just for the background.
And you helped do that.
Me and one of my people, we did that sign. That was the biggest sign I'd ever seen.
That had to be a tough
Tough
job.
job. We did it hanging on the rope.
Is that right?
Right.
That was basically a dangerous sort of job, I would think, in case the
Yeah,
rope-
most of our work was dangerous.
Mhm.
About one bad step and you had it
Yeah,
back then.
and you survived all those
Yeah.
paint jobs. That's amazing. Did you have any hobbies when you were young, growing up?
I like to fish and I like to hunt and I like to be out
Mm-hmm.
in the mountains. I used to look forward to deer hunting.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, for months, 2 months ahead, you start getting ready. But now you just get in the car and go up. You're ready to go.
Well,
Something like that.
I can't hurt animals. I just love to look at them.
Yeah, well, I probably the same way.
I wanted to ask you a question about the farming down in Otis and Loving, in the Otis area. Did you ever, as you were working in those fields, run into rattlesnakes?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Some. We just, it was a way of life.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't scare you. You just had respect for them. I'd kill them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or we did,
Mm-hmm.
because that's things you have to watch out for.
Yeah, yeah. So you got involved in painting
Yes,
on a big scale. Did you ever get into painting on a small scale then?
like houses.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Even
did.
smaller than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. I did a little picture painting. Tried it. I like it. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Picture
I-
painting.
Yeah, I like these behind me here.
Yes, they are beautiful, aren't they?
These are not oils, but that's what I did. Some watercolors. Tried it. Then
Well, I think we're going to get into this painting part. What do you specialize in now? Pictures of human beings or scenery mostly?
I don't paint now. I do pottery. I'm a
Oh,
potter.
you do pottery now.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's my thing. Playing in the mud.
playing in the mud. Well, I'm going to have to get around here and look at some of your work, Bill, because it's fascinating to me to see artists in action. And, you know, in this beautiful artist gallery, we've got everything from pottery to knives to beautiful paintings, oil, and whatever you want to call it. I'm not an artist. I'm a failure as an artist, but it's nice to see guys who are creative. And you are a creative person. What do you do besides paint? In the evening, for example, what do you enjoy doing?
In what?
In the evenings.
In the evenings?
Mm-hmm.
Watch a little TV.
Any particular shows you enjoy?
Watch the ball games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about which team is which team, but I just watch the action.
Yeah. Did you watch the famous football games that we've been watching lately?
Yeah, I watched one last Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all interesting, aren't
Yeah.
they? Did you ever play any sports at all?
Tried to in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Not very good at sports.
Yeah. I think you and I are about the same on that. About the only thing I did was boxing. And as an amateur boxer, and after you get hit in the head a few times, you realize
Yeah.
this is not the way to go, Bill, right?
I tried it.
Well, anyway, I guess we're going to say sayonara, and I want to thank you. You know sayonara, goodbye. I want to thank you for being our guest today, Bill. It's been a real pleasure.
It's been my pleasure.
And
I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
keep doing those potteries. So I'm going to look at your pottery here,
Thank
with
you.
your permission.
Yes, it's fun of you over here.
Okay, good. Well, on behalf of Intrepid Potash and the Artist Gallery, we want to wish you all a Goodbye and good luck.